Rings of Power Season 2, the home of delusional takes, such as Season 2 is so much better than House of the Dragon. If you think that headline's bad, just wait until you find out why. Because this headline isn't new, we've seen it before, just never for reasons as stupid as this one. The Guardian did it with Season 1, so astounding. It makes House of the Dragon look amateur. Of course, they did change 6 weeks later to Now We're Tolkien, officially the worst pun I've ever heard. After 6 glacial hours, The Rings of Power is finally worth watching. Hang on, I thought it was before.
It's hard.
I'm hard as you.
But even they had to admit, when it was over, we can come out and say it. The Rings of Power was a stinker. But it seems Season 2 has fixed all of that. The first 3 episodes are absolutely amazing, and you can safely watch it for your entertainment needs. Why? Well, it's because Celebrimbor had an umbrella.
If you do not leave willingly, you shall be removed by force.
Celebrimbor and his umbrella is the best part about Rings of Power. He had an umbrella and it was crap. He got rained on. That makes the 3 hours of twaddle worth watching alone. Seriously, I could have written this article.
You shall not pass.
It even had the National Review to come out and be like, no, Rings of Power Season 2 is not better than House of the Dragon. And he's just kind of in awe at the stupidity of the article. As someone who's seen both series, I can safely say this isn't true. But I was curious to see how the review, Nick Shagger, is that his name? That's his name? I have seen that name on Rotten Tomatoes before. I just didn't know it was related to this. Every time I see it, it comes as a surprise. What do you expect? Shagger by name, Shagger by nature. But I was curious to see how he backed up this assertion, but he did not. And it's not hard to see why. He's clearly wrong. Rings of Power Season 2 has caused critic wars. I was interested to see if you could come up with an excuse. You couldn't be bothered. Arrogance, gluttony, ego, suspenseful, graceful, frequently breathtaking. Celebrimbor is an artist whose aspiration for immortality is the seed of an incalculable destruction. Why does a boat float but a stone sinks?
Do you know why a ship floats and a stone cannot?
Or for a better demonstration, Johnny Law noticed in episode 3...
Afraid he'd lose control again without a gand.
Without a gand. He can't cast without a gand after he's met an elf. Pass me my gand, elf. I'm just hoping that Rings of Power comes out and says it. Tolkien typoed his name. He went around telling everyone he was Gandalf, and they spelt it wrong.
Find a gand, there's plenty sticks all over the place.
Not Frodo has just indirectly confirmed that not Gandalf is in fact Gandalf.
We typoed his name after a twig as a kind of highbrow entertainment I expect from a show that's so much better than House of the Dragon. But he's got an umbrella.
Mr. Celebrimbor, I fear Sauron may be in Eregion.
What? Celebrimbor, Sauron, Eregion. Showed like 3 words out of 6.
To ensure Celebrimbor and his...
It just keeps going. She's like a machine gun. She's got like 1,000 RPM. This is where we find out that cats don't purr, they're just speaking Elvish. But we start the show with an elf on a horse. Remember that. Horses are good ideas.
Still no word from Celebrimbor.
What do you mean still no word from Celebrimbor? The very last scene at the end of the episode was telling us about how you hadn't had word from him.
Elrond's task is not to join your company, but to lead it.
If you're going to do this, you have to show us that time has passed. As far as I know, you've just walked out the meeting and you're like, oh, still not heard from him in the last 30 seconds.
Eregion is just under 150 leagues.
Are you sure you want to give us a distance? Never given us a distance for anything before. Before, we could just teleport all over the place, but this one is going to take days.
We shall need an archer, 2 swordsmen.
Why? 150 leagues, we need 1 archer and 2 swordsmen. What's that, like a person per 50 leagues? Why 3 people specifically? Is it for when Galadriel gets hungry or something? Every 50 leagues? She has to eat an elf? You know what you like when you're hungry, Galadriel?
Trust you can recommend a set?
Trust? Me? Are you certain that's wise, Commander?
Oh, I did say previously they'd put her under his command just so that she can humiliate him and then take charge back again. Welcome. We did it the moment they walked out the room. I can't work as a subordinate. Do you know who I am? I am Galadriel, the cannibal.
The High King's urging I agree to appoint you as first lieutenant, but if you deem that duty beneath you, I will choose another.
Based Elrond. Could have only been improved with a backhand.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, sir. Yes. I guess I could probably follow your commands. Oh, she's insufferable.
Yes, I can recommend archer and 2 swordsmen.
Yes. What, Galadriel? You shall use my full title, Elrond the Chad. Elrond the Mighty. Elrond, the far greater than Galadriel.
Who else should we take with us?
What do you mean, who else? He's just told you 3 people. We need 3 people. Okay, 3 people and who else? I'm sorry, are you mentally retarded? We cut to a montage.
Gonna need a montage.
We zoom over trees. We see insignificant people moving on the hill. Let's count them. Wait, so it's Elrond, Galadriel, 2 swordsmen, 1 archer. Who's this one? You've added an extra person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why have you got 6 people when you said you were taking 5 guys? But we're getting more montage. Oh, we passed some trees. Oh, we got a map. We're traveling across a map. I don't know why you didn't just teleport like you did every other time. Yes, we've arrived at a bridge. I mean, you don't need elf eyes to see that that bridge has gone horribly wrong. Did we really have to see how deep down it goes? I mean, it's a bridge. If you built a bridge, I am going to assume you can't have just gone underneath it.
Lightning.
Do you remember lightning? I remember lightning. No earthly force could do this. This must be Sauron. And he asked him for other paths. We can go north, but it'll add 2 weeks. Or we can go south, which is far faster. Should we do a head count as well? There's 2 of them, and there's the 4 people. Why have you brought 4 people? He wanted 2 swordsmen and 1 archer.
We shall need an archer, 2 swordsmen.
Galadriel can't even count. Is it because you had 3 blokes and she's like, no, I want a woman? Do you remember when Don Lemulus talked about how his mother died in childbirth because he wasn't actually supposed to exist? They've just done it again, attire. Very cosmopolitan, these elves. I was born before the sun existed. I actually don't know how I ended up this way.
We shall either have to turn due north, adding 2 weeks to our journey.
Or
we go the other path, which should add 3 weeks to our journey. I mean, start with the smallest one, right? Don't go well, you know. We could travel across the ocean and add 5 years to the journey, or we could just go over there, you know, that other bridge you can see in the distance. Probably the better one. I don't know why I left that till last.
We go south.
we'll get us to a region much faster.
If it's faster, lead with that one. I also don't know why during this entire conversation he's staring at her as if he knows. Hang on, Galadriel's got something to say. She's always moaning about my plans. So as he's suggesting plans, he's like, come on, Galadriel, I know you're gonna complain at me. But she sees into the darkness. There's a hand!
There's evil in those hills.
To be fair, there's evil in these hills as well.
Ancient and filled with malice.
You'd think if it was ancient evil, they would know about it, considering they're immortal. She says Sauron means for us to go that way. We must go the longer route. He's like, hang on, Sauron's probably watching both roads. Whichever way we go, we're gonna get attacked. We're going south, through the ancient Eve. Bridge shows that Celebrimbor's in danger. We must go at haste.
We won't reach anywhere at speed if we walk into a trap.
Except with traps in both directions, might as well go south, mate. Of course, this is Galadriel, and she's not used to taking orders from somebody vastly more intelligent than her.
Commander, I must protest.
Okay. Go away then. Go on, burn down a target or something. No one cares. And so she breaks Star Trek's #1 rule: if you have a problem with the boss, do it privately, not in front of the help.
Opinion heard, Lieutenant.
Yeah. Back down, peasant. The 4 people leave, despite the fact there should only be 3. He has some words for Galadriel.
This company will not take counsel from that trinket.
Yes, I have absolutely no interest in your ring, Galadriel. We'll leave that for Sauron, shall we? If you can't ignore the ring, you will leave. Go back to Lindon.
I should like to.
Did you pissing come here? We must go to talk to Celebrimbor. Do you want to go back, Galadriel? Yes, actually. Yes, I do. Probably should have decided that before you walked 100 miles. Can't leave. Because I don't want to see any of you die. Because the only chance for survival anyone has is the person who wants to bang Sauron.
Including you.
It's not my fault I'm better than you, Galadriel. I got promoted out of your inadequacy. Drop it. But Gandalf is walking around looking for Nori after he fired them out of a cannon. Or tornado, same thing. Except he finds a goat.
Nori, up here.
Nori, are you a goat? Did I transform you into a goat during that tornado? I mean, I don't know why he thinks a goat knows where Nori is. But as he's walking along, he finds a homeless beggar. What can I say? Very unpredictable behaviour, sometimes violent.
Pardon me, I don't suppose you've seen a pair of halflings come this way?
Wouldn't 2 halflings just make like a full ling? I'm a hobo!
See, you found the goat.
What? I see you've met my wife. There's a goat, mate. Gets lonely up in these hills.
Wasn't what I was searching for.
There is what you're searching for, and there's what you find.
Why does a boat float and a stone sinks? Mind you, I guess they had to have him say something stupid for his first line. You know, to distract from the accent.
What you're searching for, and there's what you find now, isn't there?
Yeah, ain't there? Off up to top at farm, got a combine harvester, I do.
I wore brand new gaiters and me cordy right pants.
There are some stars above your hill.
So you fired 2 Harfoots out of a tornado, and you didn't even try and track them. You just continued where you were going to the stars. Assumed they'd even know the way? This guy's an idiot.
Stars above most hills.
Well, he's got a point. At that moment, his star chart blows out of his hands. And as he chases it, it ends up on a tree. And so, Gandalf, in his tiny little mind, thinks... Oh, look, it's a Gand. I can take this Gand, Connor. It appears to be that any piece of wood will be a staff for a wizard. That's just how it works, obviously.
The branch.
Any branch. I mean, you could just found a tree and be like, this is my magic now. Of course, I just need wood. And so he tries to rip the limb off the tree. Deezer must be nearby, except his foot gets stuck in the tree root. And then he gets sucked inside the tree. I mean, there's no way he's surviving that. He's getting crushed. On the plus side, he's essentially inside a magic staff, and I was fully expecting him just to explode the tree. Unfortunately, at that moment, we find out that Nori survived.
Poppy!
Foot cam for the lads. It's not my fault there's some creepy degenerates out there. They might like Poppy. Somebody will in this.
Did you see him? Oh, who'd you think?
What? You got fired out of a tornado. You're lucky to be alive. And like, hang on, has it put us coincidentally back down right next to him again? That'd be magic, wouldn't it?
Never mind, where's he? Where are we?
I mean, it looks identical to the last wasteland you were in. Could be Scotland. But at that moment, they see a rider coming along, and despite the fact that he is coming in their direction, for some reason, he can't find them. Now, as you know, hobbits are masters at hiding. They can just vanish in an instant, and so these two, when you see them in action, it's impressive. When you can disappear that fast on instinct, no wonder you can survive Mordor. Especially as they come up with a new plan. There is a cliff here, and there's a guy behind us. I mean, I could have done that. I'm not a pissing hobbit. I thought hobbits were supposed to be better. No. They collapse all the way down the mountain and somehow survive, don't break anything, they're fine.
I think we lost them.
You think? You just jumped off a cliff? Nobody's stupid enough to do with that except you.
Where'd you lot come from?
Oh, God. It's Dumb and Dumber in one body. Where are you? I mean, I've just seen you come down a mountain, but I don't know where you're from.
Us? Where'd you come from?
What I love about Rings of Power is the depth of the narrative structure. So he says, I live here. She's like, what, Harfoots live here? What's a Harfoot? I'm not a Harfoot. I don't even know if she's a Harfoot. I didn't recognize him as a Harfoot.
Harfoots live here.
What's an Harfoot?
Well, you are.
What's an idiot? You are.
Who are you exactly?
Yeah, so they immediately love at first sight. You know, he's never seen a dwarf before, I guess. He's like, you're like me, but smaller. What I really like about you is the trash in your hair.
I'm nobody.
Nobody. The stranger. We're really going for it with this.
Well, if everybody calls you nobody, doesn't anybody call you somebody?
Oh, I think my brain had an allergic reaction to that. It was like a psychic cringe.
My mum calls me Mary Mac.
Why didn't you call yourself Mary Mac then? I mean, or just Mac and cheese. This guy is so thick, he thinks he's called nobody. And she's like, I like a stupid man. That way I can walk all over him.
I'm Poppy.
They start making eyes at each other because, you know, low stature means low standards. I don't know. You know, Nori gets jealous.
I'm Nori.
Turns out, though, that his wheelbarrow is full of water and he stole it from the big folk who are now hunting for him, which is how they found the Harfoots. And so they run to his house because they just stalk him, I guess.
No outsiders in the village.
Village? What village?
We're just going to follow it. It's not as if you can get away from us. I mean, we can see your hair from 100 miles away.
No village. There's no village.
No village. I just told you there's a village, but now there's no village because I'm thick as pig shit.
Either we're coming with you or I will turn you in myself this moment.
Or I can push you off another cliff. Your threats mean nothing to me, you stupid cow.
Water thief.
Backhand. I tell you, it's the solution to everything.
You're about to meet the goon.
The goon? Well. But he starts giving them 4 rules and then gives them 3. They think it's really clever. 1, B, 4. But he's like, don't call her the goons. Never look her in the eye. Stands 3 steps back. Essentially, I think he's just scared of his mom. I think that's what it's meant to be. It's just a sad, miserable old cow, which somehow has ended up leading a city. That's why she makes stupid rules up that nobody would follow. Because what are you gonna do? But they go between 2 rocks into what I think is this crevice structure. It's like, well, that's not even really hiding. If anyone walks up to the crevice, they just see you and hear you. So I'm assuming you're not meant to be hiding, but I think they are meant to be hiding. Let's face it, they're not hiding, are they? Just anyone would see it if they just walked up to the crevice. All in all, bit of a useless crevice, really. Now, as you would expect from a civilization living in a desert where they hide from all outside individuals, and so never come into contact with the outside world. It's a very eclectic, diverse group of people. Tiny, self-enclosed little village is like London Airport. Something for everybody.
Harfoots living in holes.
I can't see where we're going with this.
It doesn't seem natural.
That's what I was saying just before. But speaking of a useless crevice,
Because we're not Harfoots, we're Stores.
in comes the miserable leader. She's had a hard life destroying the city, and now she wants to destroy their lives as well.
What were you thinking bringing him here? Nobody's that stupid.
What you're thinking, bringing him? Nobody's that stupid. Oh, the accents in this episode.
They just needed a place to hide. What, with half the devils in the desert searching for him?
How do you know that? You've just met him. Oh, I'm sorry, that dark wizard's after you with his friends. Yeah, I live in a hole in the ground, but somehow my agents of spies have told me.
If we put your brains in a vulture, it'll fly backwards.
I have to find him first. Have you invented the microscope? Because if you have, we can see if you've even got one.
Be nicer to him.
Based. Who do you think you are, you silly mare? Come out here with a hair like a crash helmet. Who do you think you are?
Are you talking back sass to me?
I mean, duh. It's difficult to call other people stupid when you can't even work out I'm insulting you, love.
That was the fourth rule.
Clever!
And why shouldn't feed you leg, limb and joint to those goudrum hunting you out there?
Because you couldn't. Tried to do a day's work in your life, he'd put your back out. But as she has asked for a reason, Poppy decides to try an inspirational speech.
I have walked across rivers.
Oh, we didn't get far, did we? That's where they should be. Why are they in a hole in the ground in the desert? The stores are supposed to be by rivers. But she's like, I've been helping the stranger to find his destiny. This might save the world. I don't know how she knows anything about it saving the world, but here we are. But when they say he's a giant, he's a wizard, she freaks out. There is a dark wizard. Nobody stands in front of the dark wizard. So they type the two Harfoots, and honestly, it's the first thing they've done that I agree with. Over the dark wizard now, who's just complaining that his servants can't do anything for him. Oh, he was stronger than you anticipated. Well, that's hardly my fault, is it?
Conjured a sandstone from thin air that killed 2 of my men.
Well, your men must have been pathetic and weak then, because 2 little tiny girls survived it. They got thrown around in it just like you did. The stranger has gone north to the hermit, and we've lost the Harfoots in the desert, but we are close to finding them. The wizard, though, he's like, I will see to the East Star. You go and wipe out those tiny little children. You go and wipe out the Harfoots. I don't know why he cares. Back with Tom, who saves Gandalf from the tree that ate him. I mean, honestly, if trees around Tom Bombadil keep eating people, you have to wonder if it might be his fault. Telling trees to eat people just so he can save them and appear like a good Samaritan.
Who are you?
Decide on your own name before you start asking other people's. It's just an idea. There's, I've not been called anything for a long time, but people used to call me Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil, top of the tree up there I am. Yep, got a brand new combine harvester.
I ain't got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the key.
But outside, he's singing.
Goldberry?
And the night shall fall.
And he's all confused. There's someone out there with you. I thought I heard a woman singing.
Woman?
Do I look like the kind of person that would have a woman with me? Seriously. Yesterday I ate a rat.
What woman?
Is no one else here with you?
You're here?
Wait, he knows the tree is here. He knows he was just singing with a tree, and he knows the tree has a female voice. Tom Bombadil. Massive retard. Rings of power, where everyone's in double digits.
That is, I think you are you?
And he hallucinates. What were you hoping to find under the stars? Certainly not, Tom. He's like, no, I was after my friends. It's like, hang on. You only came here because you kept dreaming about stars, and your friends came with you. So you thought you'd travel all the long way to go to some stars to find your friends under the stars, which were with you at the start, so you didn't even need to travel to meet them. This is your grand wizardly plan. Right. Tom starts talking about how the stars are newcomers. How he was there in the dark, and then one day they just appeared, eyes staring at them. The newcomers.
Still newcomers.
Can I get my map back, please? Because I need my map more than I need whatever you've just turned it into, which I think is meant to be food, but doesn't look like it.
What are you?
I mean, he's clearly a wizard like you. This isn't hard. He's just done magic.
Don't you know my name yet?
Bombadil. So he starts talking. Yes, you are young. You need to learn your name. But I'm old. Eldest, even.
Eldest. That's what I am.
What do you mean, eldest?
Okay, maybe single-digit IQ. He doesn't even know what the word eldest means.
Eldest.
Well, that answers that then. So he gives him the speech. Tom was there for the rivers and the trees, for the first raindrop and the first acorn. He knew the dark under the stars when it was fearless. And this place used to be green, but now it's all desert and sand. I had to come here myself to find out, because we needed a reason to explain why he is where he shouldn't be.
Even your tree out there, Old Man Ironwood.
I thought it... he?
Yes, you wouldn't want to offend a tree. Would you? It's a tree. It's an inanimate object. It's an it. Because if it's a he, you're going to have to answer an awkward question. What exactly did he try and snap off at the start? All I'm saying, it would explain why it ate him.
Might be able to lend me a branch.
Well, you should have tried asking him.
Yeah, just, talk to a tree. Can you lend me a branch? And when I say lend, I mean snap off one of your limbs forever so I can walk around holding it. I mean, I wouldn't accept that deal. Why would a tree? I'm not going to lend you a hand, literally. Tom, though, shows off his magic when he yawns.
Ease.
Yeah, easy, Arbine. Don't make noise. You're gonna be supper, and I don't like my food to talk back to me. That's when Gandalf puts everything together. Can you teach me your magic? That you wield the power of the elements, trees, wind, fire. Can you teach me how to wield a staff?
Wizard's staff is like a name. It's yours to wield already.
Okay, but can you stop opening fortune cookies and just give me an answer to my question? Because earlier he said this as well. When he said, can you teach me magic? He's like, but you need to prove yourself worthy of a staff, and you prove today you're not. Maybe you will be tomorrow. We shall discover whether you're worthy. And so as Gandalf sees the stars on the cave ceiling, he realizes, I didn't come here for a staff, I came here for you, didn't I?
I was meant to find you, wasn't I?
Probably you shouldn't have brought 2 half-foots along so they can die, really, should you? Then, though, they hear riders coming for them. And he tells him a story how Gandalf isn't the first Sea Star to come with him. Instead, there was a dark wizard that he taught. And that dark wizard used his new powers that he learned from him to rule Rune. And if he should ever join up with Sauron, then fire will burn the earth. And I thought you didn't care, mate. You're not supposed to care.
These two flames combine into one. There will be no end to burning till all Middle-earth is ashes.
Yeah, but you don't care about... What? Just in case anyone is wondering, this isn't Tom Bombadil. They've just taken a character of their own making and then gave him the name. Just like the rest of the show. And it gets worse. Gandalf says, can you stop it?
Tom's a wanderer, not a warrior. Great deeds are left to the hands they were placed in.
It's no longer, I don't care about it, it's none of my business. It's like, I could. I just decide not to. I'd rather just sit here and waste my time in a cave looking homeless. No, instead, he believes in fate and how deeds get handed down from God. You are the one who is destined for this.
And I shall gather lilies while yet they grow.
Great, so his deed from God is just to pick flowers while he has the power to stop everything. Like, this is one of the reasons why it's far better to make him not care. If he's unaware of the danger or he's on a different kind of level of existence, you can be like, okay, so it's beneath him, he just doesn't notice. Whereas this, he notices how bad it is, he realizes how evil it is, and then ignores it. He's like, no, I'd rather pick flowers. You can all burn. They've made Tom Bombadil evil, rather than just unaware, or someone with greater things to occupy his mind.
You mean my hands?
Are you saying that I have a new mission given to me individually to stop it? Is it my task to stop the fire?
Is it my task to face Sauron?
Well, I mean, if it is, you're in the wrong place, lads. You should be over there with the elves.
Your task is to face them both.
Cold as a quilkin.
Oh, he's got to talk like this, he is.
Which is Cornish for a frog.
Oh, I'm Tom Bombadil. I'm from Cornwall, I am. So now it's not just that he knows the problem but can't be bothered to do anything. He now knows the fate of everyone in the realm. This is... Congratulations, Amazon.
Oh no, someone's talking nonsense at me.
Walking through the trees, though, the 5 people and the 1 red shirt discover the barrows.
In ancient days, this was where they laid their lords and kings to rest.
Doesn't seem very big, does it? I mean, if you had to walk through this exact circle for anything to happen, just go round the big mounds on the ground. It's fine.
I feel no rest here.
Okay, so go around it. It's not very big. It's literally like 30 meters wide. I can see the edge on the camera.
Fear not, dead men are no threat.
But just in case they are, how about you go around the very small circle, eh? Red shirt.
Keep moving.
But the guy who looks remarkably like Sauron from the intro sequence sees some eyes. I've got little daggers. He tells Galadriel that for a moment I heard something almost like music. During this time, Elrond finds the single messenger that was sent to talk to Celebrimbor.
The king sent a dispatch to warn Celebrimbor.
Yeah, if only he'd sent 2, eh? Maybe Celebrimbor wouldn't be dealing with Satan himself.
This dispatch. We must go from this place.
It's a bit late for that, love. I have to be honest, out of the 5 people, 1 archer, 2 swordsmen, and the 6th red shirt, I didn't expect it to be him. Galadriel's just holding on to him, getting pulled along into the darkness. Don't let go! What did you think she was gonna do? I know this isn't on a cliff, but it's still as stupid to say it. Okay, maybe he realized it was Galadriel and she was just going to let go, I suppose. I may have overestimated Galadriel, but he knew who he was dealing with. Don't let go, I've seen you do it before. So he gets sucked into a hole. That's probably not the best noise to hear from your friend, but it does mean that now we are actually down to the number that we said we were going to have at the start of the episode. 5. 2 swordsmen and 1 archer. So I guess when she said, who else shall we bring? She just meant, which person are we going to sacrifice in the future? Because we will need 5. Now at that moment, we get the dangerous, scary, most horrific ASMR. Galadriel is the only one with the instinctive reaction to, when I've seen my friend die, and get creepy whispers, pull my sword out to defend myself. Every single person there has watched their friend die. I'm sure this is safe. I don't need a weapon. Not our Galadriel, though, the brains of the operation. Even as a corpse starts climbing out of a grave in front of them. I mean, look at that thing. A necromantic creature has just crawled out of a grave.
Prepare yourselves.
What? I don't know what's worse. The fact that they could see a zombie crawl out of a grave and not think they need their weapons, or the fact that Galadriel thought she had to tell everybody to pull out your weapons. I wonder if they realised that the walking skeleton might be dangerous to us after it's just eaten somebody in front of them. There is a hierarchy of IQ in this group, but she's the highest with 3. Oh yeah, sorry, we didn't pull our weapons because we wanted to spin the camera around and do it cool. You probably should have done that after the friend got eaten though, but before the skeleton arrived. I'm just saying, it would have made sense, editor.
What are they?
I really want to say your mum. I can't help it, it's instinct.
Barrow Whites.
If you know they're Barrow Whites, that means they're everywhere, right? They must be really common, you've met them before, and so avoid barrows. There's something evil here in this barrow. Okay, we're not going in there because it's probably Barrow Whites. I know about them. I've met them before. Instead, she's like, no, I can't be. So they go and attack the undead creatures, and for some reason, despite the fact that Galadriel knows what they are, she doesn't know how to defeat them. So as they're slashing them apart, they just start reforming. And their weapons do nothing. Of course, as ever in this, there is always one slow person in the group who is last to catch on.
Do your arrow!
It's her, isn't it, really? These people are invincible. Maybe if I shot an arrow in their face, it'll change it. But I don't know what's worse, the group being stupid, or the fact that they think they need to do this for the audience.
They're impervious to our weapons.
I'm so glad you told me, after I've just seen their head reform from an arrow to their face and regenerate in 2 other positions, that someone could go, they're impervious to our weapons. It's just for that stupid guy at the back over there. Yeah, you. Specifically you cretin. It's just insulting. Elrond, though, he is a leader with a plan. He knows everything, despite the fact that he didn't know what Barrow Whites were. No, Galadriel was the one that knew what Barrow Whites were. Elrond said nothing. Luckily, though, he knows all about them. I need to open this door with... During this, just because opening a door would be boring, chains wrap around the ankle. Luckily, somebody is there to save her. It's Elrond. Now, we said there was something wrong with that scene after she got hooked with the chains. It was an entirely different person that chased her. Do you want to know where Elrond was? He's this guy. In the cave. Elrond never chased her. You even have double-daggered guy running after her. That's the blonde. Except now, double dagger guy has turned into sword guy in a different person. Editing! You can even see this guy's double daggers. And pay attention to this guy's hands. You can see the dual daggers. Oh, the editing. And Elrond doesn't have dual daggers. He's got a sword and a staff. I know this shouldn't annoy me as much as it did, but it did really annoy me. But now they find out their weapons work. All you need to kill them is weapons from their own graves. So with that, they save themselves.
Only the blades with which they were buried will return such creatures to rest.
Okay, but you didn't even know what they were at the start. So how did you know that? And how did Galadriel know what they were, but not how to defeat them? I need answers. But like, these people have been entombed for 1,000 years. Why have they risen now? Something must have awoken them.
Something has awoken them.
No, someone.
Who is that man? He is no man. This is Galadriel's specialty. Sauron has been awakening evil all across Middle-earth. And I'm like, hang on. If he has that much power that he can influence all of Middle-earth, how did he die to 5 orcs? That seems really stupid. Over with the seal door, they're looking for Theo. They find the camp with the woodsman and their axes. Yeah, a woodsman would never leave his axe. That's worth more than gold to him. Don Lemulus, though, finds somebody holding a torch, except there's nothing attached to the arm. And he realizes, danger. There's bits of people everywhere. So they start to have a meeting about what to do, because clearly these people are dangerous.
I say we raid their camp.
We'd be starting a war.
Starting a war with who? They're the people of Mordor. They're already at war with you. They're pure evil.
We're already at war.
See? That guy's sane. No, this wasn't even done by them. This was done by something darker. But while they're discussing which wildman camp they should go to, Norman's got a plan.
You do better to look north.
How'd you know that? Someone attacks your caravan and you know everything about them?
I know.
I've spent weeks searching these lands, looking for loved ones.
Well, you're not the only one, love. You go out in a city on a Saturday night, there's a lot of people doing the same. They wouldn't know whether woodsmen are either, though, unless you found a few loved ones among the woodsmen.
That part of the forest is old. Promise you there are wildmen there, and
What's that got to do with anything? There'll be wildmen in the north. Those trees are old. So? But Isildur just takes her word for it. Get provisions, we're going north. Meanwhile, Lemonless, he's a little bit suspicious. And I've got to be honest, they're all treating him as if he's a god, but if all it took was to move a lever back and forth a few times, I'm surprised someone didn't try that before. There you go. I mean, there you go. You're not even the one that moved the lever. You just stood there as the water appeared and was like, that's see, I did it.
fancy you never want for water on your island.
It's a pissing island, love. It's everywhere.
Numenor, we have water in most of our homes.
Probably sort out that roof, really, shouldn't you? Something's obviously gone horribly wrong.
I'd like to see that.
You have a husband. This is what pat up for chat up lines in medieval times. It's like, well, you know, I have water in my house. Oh, I can't resist. I'll just divorce him.
I wager you're betrothed with two?
It didn't concern you in the last episode, though, did it? You were just like, this slag will forget him immediately. Lemonless, though, comes to investigate them. You said you'd spent time along the Wildmen. How long? I was hiding. Yeah, in the forest, away from all of them, except you know who they all are. With one of the encampments, your story doesn't make sense. You've got a wound, love.
No, that was my fault. I fell asleep by the fire.
As you do, yeah. You put your knife in the fire, and then you fall asleep next to it and just roll on top of the knife that's in the fire for no reason. We've all been there, let's face it.
It was foolish of me.
We all do foolish things sometimes.
Get a job in Rings of Power. Yeah, no, it's easily done. I'd love to know how she thought that was going to go. Instead, he shows him his wound. It's clearly just a burn mark on it. Like, this is what they do. They try and avoid us. They burn off the mark of Mordor. I'm like, hang on, this is a really stupid... Why are you branding people with your mark if they have to get rid of it in order to infiltrate your enemies for you? Don't brand your people who are meant to be spies.
You would have caught her at the gate had she not come in with you.
Why didn't you check her anyway, just because she's with him? I would have checked him as well. So they come up with a plan. We can now use this stupid cow in order to find the rest. He starts getting all offended. What was your plan? To stab me and take my horse, but then you saw I was Numenorian? I'm like, pretty much. Didn't you gather that the first time? Does it matter whether she was doing it for her or Adar? Really? Either way, you still got stabbed.
You were using me all along. Wait, you don't even have a betrothed.
No, I bet she does. She would try and get with as many men as physically possible to get them all to protect her and just go from one to one to the one to the next, wherever the need arose. That's actually a storyline I'm surprised that Rings of Power would even touch on. They just don't do it as well as you would expect in sort of like Korean shows. Because in this, she still has to be the one in control and in power, rather than the one who's like, I need to do this. I'm willing to do anything for protection.
Would you rather I died in Mordor?
Yes, you stabbed me in the pissing leg.
I don't know. Let me think.
Legolas, though, finds a flower. And he's like, hang on, let me listen. You must be still. Says Theo was not taken by men at all. And then we cut to Theo in a rather unique prison cell, which he could definitely escape from.
Well fed to weak.
Theo could fit through these holes. I'm pretty sure I could. Some of them aren't even thick branches. You could just break them. I mean, look at this. Anyone could fit through that. But they don't know what has taken them. They just know it's big. Meanwhile, we cut to the devastation of the forest.
Might be easier to balance if I had use of my hands.
No one gives a toss about your hands, love. Dirty beggar.
And easier to escape.
He's growing on me like a rash. Elrond and Lemonless, they are improved in season 2.
No one could escape in this.
Not without my arrow in your face. But as she's asking him to unlock her, we hear Isildur. He has a bit of a messy accident. Oh, I hope you've invented toilet paper in Rings of Power, because you're gonna need it after that. You might need a second roll. Instead, no, he's actually just got stuck in the mud.
I said it's all right.
Alf's, though, very light, and he starts walking across to him in an attempt to bring him out.
Give me your hand.
Yeah, I'd give him your hand quickly. Don't put your hand into the suction that you're going down in. Otherwise, you're going to have to drag out your hands with your face, and that's not going to end well. Now, you think at this point, he's probably going to be fine. He's got an elf with him and everything. No, it escalates. It escalates pretty fast. Lift me up! Could we stop giving people stupid advice? I'm on the edge of a mountain. Don't let go. I'm stopping you being dragged into a hole. Don't let go. I'm getting sucked into a hole. Lift me out of this. Lemonless is like, oh, cheers, I'd never thought of that before.
I'm going down.
Okay, Captain Obvious. Full marks for committing, Lemonless. Full marks. The issue is, they're under there for a long time. You're basically just staring at them, thinking, are they going to pop out at any... No, they don't. Which is about what you expect of her, really, isn't it? So after she's run off, you just watch the floor. It turns out she's back, though, and she's got a twig with her. You know, because if an elf isn't strong enough to drag you out of the mud, then her and a twig definitely is. That's way stronger than an elf, I can tell. She doesn't have dangly bits. That's like a superpower. So she starts pulling at whatever's gripped onto the tree. And I have to be honest, I didn't expect that. That's pretty cool. It's like some weird snake creature that drags you down into the mud for absolutely no reason whatsoever. With a second mouth, like something out of Alien. If I was her, I'd be running. I'm just saying. I'm not ashamed. You just see like a mud-shaped outline as I legged it. She's not that smart. Luckily, they cut themselves free from the inside. I mean, they're kind of lucky they didn't cut themselves free under the mud, really. They still would have been in trouble. What on earth was that? There are nameless things in the deep places of this world.
This one we shall call supper.
You don't even know if it's poisonous, mate. Don't eat unnamed mystery meat. If it's a good enough rule for roadside vendors, it's a good enough rule for rings of power in a forest. Back with the Harfoots, though, and they're about to be kicked out. I don't know why they've tied her own son down. That's a bit weird. And she's like, oh, it's fine. Sadik would have done the same.
Sadik.
I tried to find her. He was called Sadik Burrows.
It's really lucky he was called that, actually. Hang on. Burrows, you say? Well, let me show you this picture, which has a history of our people. A long time ago, there was a guy who dreamt of finding a hidden place with rivers and a place where you could dig a home in a hole in half a day.
He called it the Suzat.
Right. Do you have the rights to the name The Shire? And also, was this store hallucinating, or is he somebody else that could also see into the future? I need to know. The Suzat? That doesn't sound right. I've read the books. I think you're making a mistake. You're the kind of person that'd typo Gandalf's name. There's, they stuck out one year with a caravan of followers to find this place. I'd always wondered who it was. I'd always wondered if he'd found the Suzat. He said when he found the Suzat, he'd send someone back to gather us, to take us to paradise. The Suzat.
Asked any of us ever heard of Rory Mass Burrows?
I was lucky. If their leader at this time had been anybody else with any other surname, they would have been in trouble. But because he was a Burrows, now we found our people.
Should have been here before.
Yeah. My question is, if she knew about that story and about how, you know, other tiny hobbits were going to come back to lead us to the promised land, why, when other tiny hobbits turned up, did you not go, hang on, are you from the Burrows to come to lead us to the Suzat, the promised land? How many different random hobbits do you meet out in a desert, after all? And it makes her upset. We didn't find the Suzat. I don't even have a home. I don't care.
We don't have a home.
You don't want a home. Wandering is literally your culture. It's what you want to do. It's what you're specialized in doing. What you all enjoy. It's what you would have raised to have been. The reason why you came on this journey is because you enjoy wandering. And now you're like, no, actually, I just want to settle down with 2 fields and a pig. This is against your entire character. There's a problem, though, as they hear all the townsfolk complaining. It turns out people have arrived. Big uns.
A rider sighted.
It turns out, though, that these riders have met the leader before.
To what do we owe the pleasure?
At least that's what I'm assuming. They clearly know how she behaves. But he got a whole scene between them. Where are the hobbits? Where are the hobbits?
The only halflings we know about in this desert are stores.
Look, I'm telling you, this is why they smacked her first. I love Poppy's... Oh, no. But then for some reason, it's like we're in a different movie.
Do you know why we wear these masks?
You know why I wear... Nobody paid attention to me until I put on the mask.
Defy the Dark Wizard.
Says if you defy the Dark Wizard, you will find out why we wear these things. My nose dropped off, and so I decided to make a mask with also no nose. At least make a cute mask. Back with the elves, and they bury their red shirt. But as Elrond only needed 5 in the first place, I'm not sure why any of them care. I still don't know why he was here. Probably no one even in that grave. I bet Galadriel's eaten him. I keep you going for another 50 leagues, Galadriel? Galadriel comes along and just starts whining at Elrond Elrond again.
I know you believe this ring is deceiving me, but I believe it is guiding.
Nobody cares. Elrond is right about that ring, and the only reason he won't be in the show is because the scriptwriter's going to make it stupid. We have to follow it for victory. There is no sacrifice that can be made which is too great for victory. Sauron ruling will always be worse. But Elrond drops that his father could also see the future, and he foresaw that Celebrimbor's fate will be in Elrond's hands. And so he will do anything in order to protect him.
And I promise you there will be more painful sacrifices.
Like when I meet Sauron and he destroys my ring? Well, I bet we're gonna get it. If it's so wrong, why does it feel so right? Kind of scene.
Galadriel.
Brief flashes of Sauron and Elrond probably deciding the fate of Celebrimbor. And that's when Galadriel says, "You must promise me, Elrond."
You will put opposing Sauron above all other considerations, even my life.
I'd put a turkey Twizzler above your life, to be fair. This isn't a hard promise. If you're hanging from a cliff and I could also pick up 20p, I'm picking up the 20p. Instead, the conversation gets a little bit more stupid than even I've just said.
I will make no promise whose asking is born of that ring.
Really? Yes, I agree with him. Obviously, you shouldn't promise something based off the future telling of a possibly Sauron-influenced item, especially after the descriptions that we heard about that ring in episode 3. And yet, despite saying this...
But I swear to you.
What? Elrond, this ring has allowed me to see the future. Please, will you promise me that you'll do what this ring has told me that you need to do? I will not swear on anything from that ring. I swear on everything on that ring. What?
Defeating Sauron will come first, even before you.
Do we really need to add the last bit? I would save her arrows before her. How many arrows does she... I think she's got 5 arrows. 150 leagues with a battle at the end, and you brought 5 arrows.
Forgive me, Commander. We heard drums.
Here come the drums!
Bring on the drums! Back now, though, with the useless cretin. He comes along with the key to her shackles and puts it on the log next to her. There really is no better sign of, could you just piss off, please? As it turns out, this guy's there as well.
Is that the key to the manacles?
What else is it going to be a key to? Your arse? I mean, seriously. How many keyholes are in the nearby vicinity?
Believe he meant for you to decide whether or not to use it.
Use this sword. But obviously, as you would expect of a sealed door, he's just a useless bint, isn't he, really? The only thing he's done so far is been in a house that collapsed and then get stabbed. And he's like, oh, I love you, you stabbed me. So he frees her like an idiot. I mean, I would have at least tested to see if she was a witch in the pond nearby.
I'm sorry.
She starts going, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Isildur. I'm gonna get really close to... She's got a husband, you dirty... There is nobody I like in this scene. It's like when he started telling me about his mother. I tell you, if this is what she raised, she got what she deserved. I told you. I think every single person watching this show told you. She's like, forgiveness doesn't come to people like me. No, but how about a swift arrow to the face, eh? Your people will never forgive me. What's that got to do with the sword at my throat? I've just freed you. You could have left. We probably got a dagger we could have armed you with. You didn't need to kill me. And this is why Don Lemonless is basically the only saving thing of this trio. What an absolute boss. Bronwyn dying is the best thing that ever happened to him. She's like, please, sir, if you let me go, I'll have my hands free. Take this bow. But Isildur, he doesn't even have the brains of his mum, and she's dead. And so he just can't stop losing.
I won't let them cost you out.
Yeah, try and stop me. He's got a bow.
Put down the sword.
Put down the sword. Just put down the sword. Is Deezer here as well? No, instead, it's the flowers, and Lemonless knows what's up.
Estrid, drop the sword!
Yeah, he's a bit more assertive, of course. That is a strong and independent wench. She don't need no man to stop her from getting into trouble. Honestly, I'm here for it. Based!
Economy.
Celebrate good times, come on. Yeah! This is the kind of action I come to Rings of Power for. So then, the Ent comes along and it's like, I can teach you a lesson, love. Have my foot. Now, for some reason, he's not just rolling away. There's no need for you to die as well, mate. You're still useful. Yes, apparently the elf can speak Ent. And I'm not saying that trees are stupid, but it does ask a stupid question.
Hast thou ever touched axe to wooden life?
I mean, he is wearing wooden armor that he's carved a face into. Someone say you've caught him red-chested. I don't really think you needed to ask.
To my great pain, I have.
Well, now you've done it. So the Entwife starts losing it. And then it turns out there's another one with him. There's a tree on the other side. We're Ents all the way down. and the aim is to crush you. So they see the sword, and Lemuelus is like, it's not meant for felling trees. It's meant for felling orcs. You're like, the orcs? They've been coming through here, burning, pillaging, cutting down trees. And overall, the bloke end he's pretty reasonable, normal. Yeah, we know they came through. Yes, we would like to stop them.
Spilling sap and burning bran called to us from afar.
He's just upset. He's trying to protect his people, his trees, his forest. But he doesn't want innocents to be damaged or killed. He's reasonable.
We were too late.
An army.
Oh, that's so sad. This is just mistaken identity. We didn't do anything. You can't blame us for the actions of others. And he doesn't want to.
How long ago was this?
Run. Do not ask her to speak more of it.
She's like, I'm upset you've been killing my children. And he's like, don't ask her to speak more of it. He wasn't. He was asking you because you were speaking about it. Nobody gives a toss about the murderous lunatic next to you.
They are no different from them.
I'm so glad you're so reasonable, love. This is every marriage. No wonder the Entwives went extinct. It's not that they got lost. People stopped going to pissing visit them. Lunatics. Oh, thank God they pissed off, love. We can sit here in a forest and have some peace and quiet for once.
Plowing, uprooting, branch breakers and trunk split it all!
Oh, we lost the Entwives. Yes, deliberately. We actually know where they are. We just haven't forgot the dark days. Don't touch her there, mate. You don't know what that is. She's not a person. You could be touching anything. That's a court case waiting to happen. Oh, well, no wonder she recoiled. This is Hollywood, but you can't go around randomly touching somebody's knee, mate. Not in today's day and age.
Go on, lad.
Stop feeling her up, dirty beggar. That better not be her thigh.
I missed that.
He's going to find another useless crevice in a minute, I tell you. Oh, he's won her over. What can I say? An elf knows what buttons to push. And he's giving her the eye. I told you, Bronwyn dying's the best thing that's ever happened to him. Now he's got wood.
Oh, God, elf.
Gonna turn you into a new suit of armor for me. It's gonna be amazing. Get your coat, lad. You've pulled.
Forgiveness takes an age.
He starts going on, forgiveness takes an age, but water can wash away old wounds, bark can cover old branches or whatever. And she gives him a flower. I think that means they're married now. He's in a throuple. Promises that no one will ever harm trees in this forest again. I'm like, you're a single elf. I don't think you have that power. There's also a town right next to this forest that will definitely be using it for firewood. So they just kind of trust his word. And they give a speech about how long we've been here. We've tended these trees since before the mountains divided it. And he sees Theo in a prison. He let him go. Unfortunately, Astrid is still alive.
It's me.
It's me? You know that useless waste of space that you tried to kill 2 minutes ago?
Astrid.
Oh, please. Please. Please say that's her husband. I've not seen this bit of the episode yet. I'm genuinely hoping.
Astrid.
It's gotta be her husband, right?
Hagen.
Hagen! I was just banging you for some safety among the villains. I don't want to be with you anymore now because I've got an upgrade. He's got water in his house that doesn't leak through the roof. And he's gullible as hell, I tell you. I've already tried to kill him twice. Still here. How on earth are you supposed to pull your wife in that cat, mate?
I thought you...
So did I.
What? I think she was going to go, I thought you were dead. I thought you were dead. So did I. I woke up in a tree stump. I just assumed it was heaven because I'm thick. Yeah, a seal door will learn again. This is now his third betrayal.
Can't believe you're here. Look at you.
You couldn't have got with her anyway. You're a Numenorian. You'll live way longer than she will. You'll still look like this when she's dead. Yeah. I love how he's so upset, and it's like all she's done is try to kill you and betray you, and she's literally working with a Dar and signed up with an evil tribe. And you're like, whoa, I tell you, I'll always remember her as the one that got away. You need better taste, mate. You really do. I mean, Lemonless was about to shoot her in the face with an arrow. He's just probably glad she's gone. We see the Ents leaving, though, and they've still got a forest to protect. We're gonna hold hands as we walk through a forest, but there's trees in the way. You're literally walking at either side of a tree when you've got your hands held. How's that? You're gonna knock over trees.
Thank you for coming for me.
You probably should thank him. I wouldn't have saved you.
I made a promise.
That was stupid. Why would you promise him anything? It's an early grave. Because I must protect this forest. I must go and stop the orcs. Possibly Adar.
You can come with me if you wish.
No, he can't. You're going to be running on foot to track an orc army. There is no way he has the stamina, let alone the battle skills. You're getting killed. He should go with you. You'll get him killed.
I have promises of my own to keep.
Chickens out as normal. I could briefly have been useful.
Then my clan, Lord of Pelagian.
calls him the Lord of Pelagia. It's like, he's done nothing to deserve that. He's been useless for 2 seasons. We cut over to the orcs. Look, he just wants peace. He doesn't want war. He's just a kindly gentleman who wants to look after his family. They just want peace. If only they could be left alone, the invading hordes come to destroy the nation. Of course, Galadriel's party stumbles across them.
I gather it leads to Peregion.
Mind you, they're orcs and an army. There's only 5 of you. You should be able to beat it easily.
We came in search of Sauron. Did we find Adar?
What makes you think Sauron isn't there? The last thing that they heard was that Sauron was heading into Mordor, where Adar is, and now they find Adar's army. So the logical conclusion would be that Sauron would take over as orcs because they're just orcs, and Adar's just a half orc or whatever. So you would assume that Sauron is leading this army, surely.
They be in league with each other, or
Yes, it's the only logical conclusion.
perhaps at war.
A legion of...
Do you think the orcs killed Sauron? Don't be stupid. Nobody's stupid enough to pretend that orcs could have killed Sauron.
Word of this must reach the High King before our host sails for Mordor.
You're gonna have to send at least 2 runners back because you saw what happened when you sent 1, and presumably you're still going to Celebrimbor. Except you have to remember that these are elves, and as such, they're very easily taken by surprise by stealth and intelligent enemies. Yeah, I mean, they don't even notice when there's orcs behind them with bows. So one of them gets shot, the other one hits the tree. And then they're just like, oh, I guess this is where we die. No, it turns out that actually they were just shooting a horse and accidentally missed the horse, hit a tree next to them, and then hit an elf. I mean, I know that you're holding those torches out in front of you, so you won't be able to see anything, but this is stupid. So this guy accidentally got killed by an orc. I preferred it when they were getting ambushed, to be honest. Oh, I'm sorry. Is he dying too loudly for you? I could smell elf blood. Not that I'm evil or anything. I just want peace. I just want to raise my family. Can't you tell by my smile how nice I am? I mean, Rings of Power showrunners did defend this decision to humanize the orcs. We feel like this goes straight back to Tolkien. I'm just humanizing them, bro. This is what Tolkien would have wanted. So as they hunt for the elf that they can smell, she heals him with her ring. And he's like, wow, that's really useful. What else could you do with that thing? Does it taste like strawberries like the rest of the ring pops? Wait, did you know you could do that? Probably should have told us you could heal people before.
Get to Lindon.
They can't all go to Lindon. Some of you got to go to Celebrimbor. I would have sent a couple of people back to Lindon to tell him about the army and the rest to Celebrimbor to tell him about Sauron. But instead her plan, because for some reason she thinks they're the leader, is that they all go back to Lindon. She stays and delays the army.
I will occupy them as long as I'm able.
That's not going to be very long, is it? She even gives him the evil ring, which apparently isn't evil now because it heals people, and I think that convinced him, despite spending the entirety of the last episode explaining how evil they were. I mean, he had 3 of them in his pocket before. He shouldn't be that... Oh, I'm not having it near me!
Take it, Elrond.
So as the orcs find them, she steps out. And this is the ultimate girl boss.
Where's the rest?
It's just me. I am the equivalent of 50 men.
I stand alone.
Cut off her right thumb.
Cut off her right thumb? Is that your delicacy or something? Not a left one. That tastes rank. Congratulations, you're fighting an army with 2 daggers. I hope that does a lot for you. I'm sorry. What was that? I don't know how he flipped. She goes to fire a bow. And then we see her start in a swing, but then this guy has already flipped and she hasn't swung yet. She goes to swing with her branch and he flips over it. She hasn't hit him yet. Well, I mean, hope you like your orcs, well done. So then she then dives into the army, now surrounded by orcs, and at this point you're like, well, at least she's stronger than Sauron, because he died to 5 of them. It was pathetic. So she fights her way onto the horse, just as a sword goes over the top of her face. Did you really need to kill that one specifically? I would have ridden off by now, to be honest. Why are we fighting on top of a horse? Ride away. Don't. I'm going to shoot a lantern with an arrow that will then set fire to the forest. Lemonless has just promised that you won't burn any more trees. You're in trouble with the Ents now, I'm telling you. But that's when he changes his mind about Galadriel. I think, well, even with this ring, she might not be evil.
She sacrificed herself to save us all.
I'm not that lucky. So at this point, she's on a horse. She could just ride away at any point she wanted. It wouldn't even be difficult.
These are elven lands.
Don't you turn your horse around at me just so you can complain a bit more. Nobody wants some of that, missus.
Go back to the shadow.
They just want to raise their young. They're just after a homeland, love. How dare you consider the orcs to be evil? This goes back to Tolkien. They're the good guys. That's what you get for running your mouth, you stupid tart. Probably should have let go of the arrow faster, really, shouldn't you? And that's how she gets captured by a Dar. Okay, I thought that was it, but then we get this. Now let the song begin. What? Why are we... What credit music is this? Let us sing together. No, I won't let you anywhere. Stars, moon, and mist. And in this episode, well, it was definitely better than 3, although that wouldn't be hard. I think one of the reasons it's better is it's focused on the elves, and at least the elves have something to do with the story. Tom Bombadil and his Combine Harvester, I don't care about. The Harfoots, I don't care about. Isildur, don't care about him. But at least Elrond and Legolas got some good moments. The thing is, they have taken Tom Bombadil and entirely destroyed him as a character, destroyed his motivations, to the point where it's not the same bloke anymore. And that is important, because one of the reasons they brought him in is, well, you know, Lord of the Rings movies didn't do it, so we can. But the reason they didn't bring him in is because they weren't sure what he'd add, what reason he'd be there for, and it's incredibly difficult to do him properly. And Rings of Power just thought, well, we just won't do him properly then. We'll change his motivations, so now he's more like the fate giver. He knows what you're meant to do, and he won't get in your way. And that means they saw him more as just like, look, we got him. You like Bombadil? We got Bombadil. Rather than any desire to actually do it properly. Or, as they've pretended to do, this goes right back to Tolkien, as they do no such thing. And that is just like the rest of the series. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. More videos like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.